finna walk down the street, pick me up in front of, you know where I be walking to for? The V twin, like I want to get the hit that child niggas ass twin. 40 round twin, switch on the back of the V twin. I understand you get like that, twin. Tell you, twin.
At what point does slang stop being funny and start ruining your image? Because some of these new terms of the new age that are going viral are very questionable. We be laughing, reposting, making memes of quite literally everything. I can't tell if it's the CIA or just everyone losing their mind. I'm seeing all these terms blowing up, YNs and young hoes. I'm not no unk, but look, I'm just being real. Before y'all say it's not that deep or that I'm hating, I need y'all to really think. I know slang evolves. I know people joke that it's the internet, and I know the internet is unserious. But there will always be some line between culture and self-caricature. And my point is really simple. Language shapes identity. The words we repeat become the way people see us. The same way how words always have meaning and how what you say to people or what people say to you can shape someone's entire image of themselves and the world around them. The simple fact that people will look at you just off the way you speak should tell you everything you need to know. But it's even worse. The loudest words are disrespectful, chaotic, and degrading, even if it's not obvious. And so we can't be shocked when that becomes the public image, because the internet rewards the most extreme version of everything. And sadly, normal doesn't trend. Peaceful doesn't trend. And the way we speak to people, communication, definitely doesn't trend. Nobody goes viral saying shout out to black people unless it's Black History Month, or young women, or men. It's always the opposite end with unnecessary hate behind it, because at first all this stuff is a joke, then it becomes an aesthetic. You start to understand who these terms apply to, then it's a personality. People create their own definitions of what these things represent, just like they did with black fatigue. Then one day you wake up and realize people don't even see you as a person first. People will be quicker to throw a label on you and try to box you in, and then all they see is the label. That's when the joke stops being a joke. That's branding. Let's talk about the YN label. A lot of the time it's used like a meme, but what behavior usually comes with it? They always gotta be reckless, a crash out, loud, impulsive, no emotional discipline, basically a GTA street thug. Because in every interpretation, they just compare YNs to Atlanta goons with skinny jeans, mop tops, and a tight ski mask. Now that whole energy gets packaged like it's cool by default, while being associated with the rest of us black people. We don't get no breaks. I seen a larger YouTuber whose name I'm not gonna expose using this term all willy-nilly. Mind you, this man is not even black, but that's a whole separate topic. But the younger dudes, or just really impressionable ones, start copying the performance, not because it's who they are, but because that's what gets attention. But you're no longer just describing the culture anymore, you're scripting it. And on the women's side, the same thing. For a long time, people normalized calling themselves degrading names as a joke or empowerment. Now it's like every few years, the label gets rebranded. New phrase, some layer of disrespect, and I get it. Sometimes it's irony, sometimes it's reclaiming, sometimes it's just plain trolling. But repetition can be powerful, because once you start repeating a label long enough, people stop hearing the joke and start hearing the identity of every joke about you. And once that becomes degrading, even in the slightest, eventually the joke starts collecting interest. Inside the culture, people know the tone, they know the joke, they know the context. I can understand the humor, but outside of the culture, whether it's women or black people, they do not. And the internet is such a vast place, any joke can land on any group's feed, and that's when culture starts getting appropriated. Let a joke that's only in the male space go over to the women's space, then you see a bunch of men spamming jokes ruined. Jokes ruined. That's a small example, but people will hear and see these words, and same goes for the N-word, and say,
see, that's what they are. We got one to admit it, so it must be true now.
The same way in the Vine era with King Botch, jester maxing with black stereotypes to become the biggest in his internet space. Mans was living good for years, the same comedy he used to set us back. And I know most of us were kids and it was laughable in the moment because we didn't know any better, but like most of these internet trends, it eventually comes to light the reality of why certain things become popular when other trends do not. So what should have started and ended as internet slang becomes evidence as backhanded proof for certain groups of people who already wanted to stereotype any of us. You might be saying it ironically, they're quoting it literally. And this is the part that nobody wants to admit. Some of these labels survive because they get attention. Whenever some women started calling themselves bitch amongst each other, the hateful rhetoric of the word was then ignored and allowed for certain men to still feel comfortable enough to say it even more. I know the term queen still exists, but I guess the term doesn't always apply because attention feels good even when it's disrespect. Clout will have you laughing at something that's low-key disrespecting your whole image. I'm gonna let someone else help me give y'all some more insight.
We're tearing each other down and being weird towards each other. Black men calling each other YNs? What is that? Because while you think it's cool, all it is giving other people who don't like us ammunition to use that against us. Black men calling black women B's and H's and all types of 304s and stuff, wondering why nobody respects black women, and black women calling black men dust bro, disrespecting them, and pretty much only saying that you can only get respect from having a bunch of money. We are divided And that division is exactly what has always kept us from being great. We make a fool out of each other, embarrass each other, and act surprised that other people would do the same thing. And sometimes even worse. We glorify our struggle and make that the loudest part of our culture. And then they judge us and then they put us in a box. And that keeps us from growing. Other communities are building institutions. They're building power. I'm not saying we all gotta be Martin Luther King or Jesse Jackson or Malcolm X. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is we have to at least stop working against each other. At the very least, if we could just be quiet, not focus on distractions, and try to build some power, some wealth, build something for ourselves, maybe we would be able to do better for each other. Maybe relationship problems wouldn't be that crazy. Maybe other stuff wouldn't be as dysfunctional as we say it is. We need to grow up. I'm saying that to kids, older people, adults. We need to grow up and fast. This is Dylan Square, signing out.
The internet will gas you up while your reputation is getting robbed and mocked. Every generation creates slang that's normal, but most of Gen Z/Gen Alpha slang has been rooted in deeper signs of hate. Every generation also gets to decide what kind of image it protects and who image gets protected. And if our loudest language continues branding us as unserious, hypersexual, and or self-destructive, then no one can start acting confused when that image gets sold back to us in music, media, and real life. You're gonna have Young Thug making a song about young hosts and YNs in a few weeks, right after he marries Mariah. Language is not just an expression, it's a structure that doesn't just build the house people put you in. I'm not saying nobody could joke around. I'm not saying these words are inherently evil. I'm saying be intentional, because these words can easily be flipped, manipulated, and used against any of us. Some words are harmless, but some words train people how to see you. Hence why even them old dementia patients never forget how to slur them slurs when the moment comes for them to remember something. That's the difference. Words are seeds, and the way you plant them and the way you care for them with each sentence formed is like a branch growing in. But y'all prevent further growth, the leaves, when slightly planting disrespect and then praying for dignity. That doesn't work because it changes the root. The joke is funny for a week, but your image lasts way longer. None of this internet stuff is just gonna go away. So this is a message to just be careful with what you call yourself. The world is always listening. If you keep naming yourself like a stereotype, don't be shocked when they stop seeing your humanity. The algorithm loves caricatures, like I already said, so don't become one. Comment what y'all think. Am I dragging it, or are we normalizing self-disrespect? And drop other terms that started as jokes, or y'all think started as jokes, but turn into a whole identity. I love y'all. Go check out Dylan's channel in the description down below, and I'm gonna see y'all soon.
Wow, that was so powerful. Academy Award.